Hey horror fans, welcome back to another video on the Terror Talk channel where I give commentary on creepy stories and conspiracy theories. The music you hear I composed myself. If you're struggling financially like a lot of people are, check the pinned comment after watching. I have something that will help you out a lot. Now, let's get into it and have some fun.
As a high school junior, I ran cross country and track, and I loved running alone. I wasn't the fastest on my team, but I had endurance and could lose myself in the rhythm of my feet hitting the ground. A woman in a quiet rural neighborhood near a forest preserve had hired me to run her hyperactive puppy, Izzy. She'd pay me $10 per run. It seemed like an easy gig. Izzy needed the exercise, and I got a little extra money while training. The area had scattered houses, abandoned farms, a cemetery, and the remnants of a disbanded cult commune. My parents had always warned me about running alone in secluded areas, but I figured I was fast enough to outrun anything dangerous.
Do you have any scary stories about running in secluded areas? Let me know in the comments below. For me personally, I don't have any stories like that because I don't even run to begin with. But yeah, let me know in the comments. I love hearing other people's scary stories.
That changed one evening. It was just before dusk when I took Izzy out for a longer run. The setting sun cast a deep orange glow over the treetops, but shadows stretched across the road, making everything feel darker than it should have been. The only sounds were my breathing, Izzy's panting, and the rhythmic thud of my running shoes against the pavement. Occasionally, a bird would flutter in the trees or a distant dog would bark, but otherwise, it was eerily quiet. The farther I ran, the quieter it got, as if the world was slowly emptying itself of sound. About 2 miles in, we reached a stretch of road flanked by thick forest on both sides. That's when Izzy suddenly stopped. Her ears perked, and she stared into the woods, completely still. A low whimper escaped her throat. I followed her gaze. At first, I saw nothing but the dense trees, branches swaying slightly in the breeze. But then, between two trunks, a man's face peeked out from behind a tree. He was short, maybe in his 30s, wearing a hat pulled low over his face, a thick jacket despite the mild weather, and gloves. His eyes were locked on me, unblinking. His stillness unnerved me, but I told myself he was probably just a hiker or a hunter. Still, something about the way he stood, like half hidden, watching silently, sent a chill down my spine.
I mean, I feel like that would send a chill down anyone's spine, wouldn't it? Like, damn. That would be crazy creepy if you're just running down a road casually and you see some figure lurking in the trees. Like, that's not normal. Even if it was a hiker or a hunter or something like that, that's not normal behavior.
His presence felt off, like he wasn't just some guy passing through, but something wrong, something that shouldn't have been there at all. I gave him a polite nod, trying to appear unfazed, and I started to jog again. My heart was beating a little faster now, not from the run. A few steps later, Izzy stopped again, her body rigid, tail between her legs. My stomach dropped as I turned back. The man had moved closer. He wasn't behind the tree anymore. He was standing right at the tree line, just feet from the road, still staring. His head was tilted slightly now, as if studying me. A sickening realization crept in. He wanted me to know he had moved. He wanted me to notice. I felt something cold slip down my spine. My body was instinctively preparing to run, but I forced myself to stay calm. Maybe he was just some weirdo trying to mess with me. Maybe if I ignored him, he'd get bored. I kept running, trying to stay composed, glancing over my shoulder every few steps. At first, I thought he was gone. The woods looked empty again. But then, just as I turned forward, I caught movement in my peripheral vision. I turned back, and he was sprinting toward me. He had a butcher cleaver. A choked scream got caught in my throat as
Now, this would be intense. Like, good God, wouldn't it? To have some crazed maniac with a butcher cleaver of all things chasing you down the street. That would be one scary hell experience, wouldn't it? Like, Jesus, that would just be terrifying.
Pure, unfiltered terror exploded through my body. I didn't think, I just ran. Adrenaline shot through me like electricity, and I pushed myself harder than I ever had in a race. My breath came in ragged gasps, Izzy struggling to keep up, her leash jerking in my grip as we tore down the road. I had never known fear like this before. A kind of fear that exists deep in the bones. A kind that tells you you're gonna die if you slow down. I glanced back only once. He was still chasing me. His face was twisted in pure rage, his mouth slightly open as if growling, the gleam of the blade catching the last rays of sunlight. He wasn't just running. He was running erratically, his arms flailing in unnatural motions, his legs moving almost too fast, like something that wasn't used to running at all. That's when I realized he wasn't breathing. I could hear my own frantic gasps. I could hear Izzy panting. I could even hear the distant rustling of the trees, but not him. His footsteps thundered behind me, his pace matching mine. But there was no sound of breath, just that awful silence beneath the pounding of his boots. I reached a neighborhood and sprinted between the houses, zigzagging through yards, hoping to lose him. My vision was blurring. My legs were screaming, but I couldn't stop. I darted behind a shed with Izzy. Finally, when I was sure we had put enough distance between us, I pressed myself against the rough wooden wall, gripping my knees, gasping for breath. Silence. I swallowed hard, my heartbeat still hammering in my ears. Slowly, I turned my head. At the top of the hill, he stood, watching. The cleaver dangled from his hand, his chest rising and falling as if he had just stopped running too, but he wasn't chasing anymore. He was just standing there, staring. We locked eyes. His face had no emotion now, no rage, just that blank, unsettling gaze, as if he had simply lost interest. A minute passed, then another. Car's headlights appeared in the distance, beams cutting through the dark. And just like that, he turned and walked back into the woods. No hesitation, no hurry, just gone. I didn't move for a long time. When I finally did, I took the longest route back to the woman's house, sneaking through the yard so I wouldn't be visible on the main road. My hands shook as I took my payment, acting like nothing had happened. I didn't tell her. I didn't tell my parents. I knew if I did, they would never let me run alone again. I don't know who he was. I don't know if he was part of the old cults, a drifter, or something else entirely. But I do know one thing. I never ran in that direction again.
Yeah, that would be a crazy thing to experience, in my opinion, wouldn't it? And when they hid behind the shed and looked at the guy, and they said they had locked eyes with him, why didn't he come charging after them in that moment? That's what I'm wondering. Like, why make all that effort and then just stop right there? Does that make sense? And I'm glad nothing did happen to this person because it's a crazy thing to happen. But it does make me wonder, like, why did he all of a sudden he stop chasing them? But either way, I thought this was one of the crazier stories that I've heard on this channel for sure. And if anything like that happened to me, I don't think I'd ever be the same again. What about you? Would you ever be the same? And I feel like they did a really good job getting away from that person, from that crazy psycho. But I definitely thought this was a creepy story, and I hope you enjoyed my commentary and the music. And be sure to check my money-saving opportunity down below, because it'll help you save on everyday expenses. And I know things are crazy expensive right now. But yeah, definitely check that out, and I will see you in the next video.